In this lecture, we're going to add an image to the main menu screen. Unfortunately, the UI toolkit does not allow us to add images directly. We must use a roundabout solution for adding an image. Rather than adding an image, we can add an element with the image as the background. This solution isn't perfect, but it'll be good enough for our game. In the project, navigate to the Game Assets/Sprites folder. A sprite is another way of describing an image. In regards to game development, developers will call images sprites. I've provided a few images for our game. One of them is called bombs.png. This image should be placed above the title of the main menu. Before using this image, we should configure the sprite settings. On the inspector, there's a setting called Texture Type. Images can be used for various things, such as the sky, cursor, lighting, or a UI element. Unity can optimize an image for a specific task. For our purposes, let's change this setting to 2D and UI. This image will be used in our UI, so I think this setting makes sense. Let's apply the changes by clicking the Apply button. This step is important, otherwise you may not be able to use the image from the document. Next, let's go back to the UI builder for the main menu template. As mentioned before, we're going to add a visual element. On this element, we'll change the background to an image. So, from the Library section, add the visual element to the box element as a child. Let's start updating this element to load the image. On this element, open the Background section. There's a setting called Image. Set this option to the bombs.png image from our assets. The image won't appear in the preview. Currently, the box does not have content. Background images are not considered content. Therefore, the dimensions of the image are 0 by 0. We must manually set the dimensions of the element. Typically, the dimensions of the element should match the dimensions of the image. Open the Size section. Set the width to 332 pixels. The height will be 174 pixels. Just like that, the image appeared. However, it's not in the correct location. Let's use absolute positioning to position it above the title. Under the Position section, set the positioning to absolute. Next, set the top position to -150. Lastly, set the left position to 234. Perfect. The image is centered in the box. We've successfully added an image. Admittedly, it is tedious. Images must be added as background images for an element. Hopefully, in the future, they will introduce an element for adding images. For now, this is the solution. In the next lecture, let's start loading the UI in our game.